This information is not intended as legal, health, or nutritional advice. It is provided for informational purposes only. The Natural Health Product Protection Association does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements, views, or opinions presented by guests or attendees. Help us help you. If NHPPA's work to protect your natural health product and practice freedom is important to you, please make a one-time or monthly donation. Significant funding is needed over the next year to finance our campaigns.
Canada, welcome. I'm Jason Dahl, and I'm your host tonight with co-hosts Eric Clegg and NHPPA President Shawn Buckley, and a special guest who we'll meet soon. Great to see so many people joining from all over the country. Call out names and locations that you're watching from, and we'll display it on the screen as the show goes on tonight. For those of you joining us for the first time, I would like to highlight that we'll have an exclusive Q&A session with Shawn and our guest tonight. That's exclusive to the live show. It won't be in the re-upload later. Be sure to post your questions in the chat, and we'll grab them and save them for Shawn. We've got so much to go over tonight. I've just got to hand it over to Shawn for a little bit of an intro, and then we'll get into it. Good evening, co-hosts. How are you, Shawn?
Good. So good to see Eric and Teresa here. So, well, welcome everyone. So we're very pleased that you're joining us. If you've been following what we're doing, we're getting ready for the charter tour, which we'll talk about, and the world's greatest health show. And I'll share that everything that we're doing, it's actually both troubling and exciting at the same time. And I'll explain that in a little bit, but we're very pleased to have you. This is an opportunity for us to actually, live answer questions, live have a dialogue with you. And this only works because we're all participating together. So welcome. Thank you, those of you that support us financially, because this only works because you support us financially also. And we're really, really excited about what's going on and excited to have you tonight. So thank you.
You bet. To get things rolling tonight, this is an update on all the campaigns and activities that the NHPPA has been doing to protect natural health products. And we're going to start tonight with the feed. Eric, will you tell us what's going on social media?
Very exciting to be here, and I'm excited about the amount of positive comments and interactions that we're getting on social media relating to the tour. And I'm particularly excited because I get to wear a tie for the second time this year. So that's it's been a busy month. Yeah, it's been a busy month. Lots of preparation in the way of graphics, website work, video editing. But we've managed to put out some very important social media posts about the upcoming Health Charter Tour and the world's greatest health show, which, by the way, you can watch live on our website starting in October. That's going to be at nhppa.org/live. So still some people have reached out saying they had no idea what we were planning. And if you're not following us, well, you probably wouldn't know. So very important for you to follow us and share so that everybody knows about it. We need everybody involved for this to make a huge impact. So we've been getting great comments, personal health stories in the comments on the various social media platforms. I've got a few here that I'll read out. I think Jason's going to put them up on screen as well. Livius Wildcraft, she says, I've seen so many people get better on homeopathy that
You got a little bit of a freeze there. Livia's Wildcraft says, I've seen... Are you there, Eric?
Sorry.
All right. Go again.
Am I cutting out?
You were.
Okay, so Tanya Walker Wellness says, I reversed Graves' disease holistically. The natural health supplements that I took and take were the biggest part.
Wow. Olivia S. Wildcraft. Let's go back to that one because we froze up.
Okay, right. She says, I've seen so many people get better on homeopathy that I lost count. And if the remedy is selected correctly, there's no limit to what homeopathy can do. So those are great comments. It's great to hear people's health stories. Several posts about Health Canada overregulation resulting in unavailable products. And unfortunately, the comments have been confirming this. So we have H.D. Macaulay, who says, some homeopathy is now not being shipped from Amazon because it says it cannot be shipped to your country. I've actually experienced this. So again, from Livius Wildcraft, she says, Health Canada is now effectively blocking all my orders from the UK. They don't want people to use homeopathy in this country. So that's kind of disturbing. We have a post about protection of traditional medicine. That had some very interesting comments. Callista writes, says, in the future, we will see the current allopathic pharmacy surgery-based medical model for what it is, archaic and destructive. Just as we now question the bloodletting or electric shock treatments that was common a few decades ago.
That makes me think of that scene in, I think it was Star Trek 4, and they go back in time, and Dr. Bones McCoy is in the. They got to get Chekhov out of surgery, and he's just like, "What are you doing, you Visigoths, you Vandals?" I think that's what it reminds me of. But that's how this
that was
looks.
a great one. That was the one with the whales, right?
Yep.
Seems to me.
Yeah.
We ran a poll recently asking the question, what is it that Health Canada actually does? So the results, well, they weren't particularly surprising, but here we go. It keeps us safe, 1.1%. Some optimism there, at least. Keeps pharma safe, 69.3%. Tests medicine, nobody chose that one. And does nothing, that was 29.5%. So
it's almost shocking to me because I thought all my life that they test medicines.
Yeah, you would think, eh?
Yeah. They seem to act like they claim they do.
Can I step in? So before, we get these, drug regulations, regulating us in 2004. Prior to that, we actually had a world-class lab that did take natural supplements and tested them, but we closed down the lab and went into this paper regulation system. And people in Health Canada were quite public that this is we're doing it backwards. So when one Health Canada expert, Dr. Michelle Brill Edwards, was really, really vocal that we're basically committing fraud on the Canadian population because we're losing our ability to actually see if there's any risk, and then just relying on a paper system that does nothing. So,
wow, and that lab was part of Health Canada, or was it another?
Yeah, it was a Health Canada lab, world class.
Right. So at one point we did test medicines. Now we just take whose ever word for it. Oof.
Yes, we rely on the pharmaceutical companies to do the testing, right?
Right.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, for sure. So that's the
Do they have any skin in the game? Do they have any skin in the game? I'm just wondering.
Oh no, they're the best.
We've also been sharing these explainer videos that Shawn recorded a couple of years back. They explain the charter in detail, but without all the legal jargon, so it's easy to understand for the non-lawyers like myself. And so we've had lots of encouragement from our followers towards Shawn, especially. Sally says, Shawn, you're the best. Let's stop this. Debbie says, thank you, Shawn, for all your hard work. Ashley on Earth says, good Canadian lads still exist, and this country is worth fighting for. Thanks for being a lighthouse in the dark, Mr. Buckley. So that's
great.
encouraging.
We do encourage you to check out those videos. They're all on YouTube. They're constantly being posted on socials. A series of, I think it's 19 tiny little clips, a minute, 2 minutes long at most, explaining each section of the charter. And I think it's important that we all know what we're talking about if we're advocating for the charter, to understand what it is legally, constitutionally, and so forth. So we've made that easy for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter, because we're including that in each newsletter that we send out every week. What else you got for us, Eric?
Well, we've also posted about the form that's on our website. It's at nhppa.org/health-charter-tour. Just go to the homepage. You can find it easily. That allows you to send an automatic letter to your MP, and that's demanding that the health charter be made part of Canadian law. So Brenda Bercier replied. She said, I've pitched this idea to CBC Marketplace TV in hopes of their interest in covering this topic. So here's hoping. So that's quite an amazing initiative, Brenda. Thank you for that. And we sure hope they'll cover it as well. And maybe we can all send a message to CBC Marketplace and ask them to cover the Health Charter Tour. We have a lot of comments about the upcoming tour. It's hard to pronounce. Wojciech Langer says, I asked one lady at a swimming pool, does she know that Health Canada attacks NHPs? Her reaction, yeah, really? And she swims away. So people are clueless. We need this show going. So we're getting it going. Elizabeth Wilson asks, is it too late to sign the petition? And the answer is no, because right on the homepage of nhppa.org, there's a button there where you can download the petition, sign it, and get everybody you know to do the same. Now, finally, a lot of people have been bugging us to actually get a Volkswagen van for the tour. I mean, we have it in all of the marketing, so why not make it a reality? So we think we found the one. We're not sure, but we think so. And it's going to need a little bit of work, a few repairs, a touch of paint. We should be good to go. So we still have 3 weeks. Can you run the video, Jason?
Perfect.
I think that's going to get us there.
Yeah. We'll put the digital petitions in the middle.
Right.
But it is fun how that van has like that you guys have put on our promotional materials has resonated, because we are getting a lot of people excited with the idea of a Volkswagen van.
Everyone keys into it. I don't know what it is about the Volkswagen Vanagon series. It just means traveling to people.
I grew up in one. When I was a kid, I grew up in one, and it's great in the summer, but don't go in November because then it gets really cold. The heaters. So hopefully we'll.
Indeed, we're going to check in now with our special guest, Teresa Buckley, for a campaign update. Teresa,
hello.
It's been fun. It's been a wild week. Where are we at?
Well, I guess first I have to say thank you for having me on the show and explaining a little bit about what's happening. So across Canada, we are now coast to coast represented. We're starting in Victoria, Vancouver, Aldergrove, Kamloops, Grand Prairie, Edmonton, Lloydminster came on board yesterday. And we're hopping over to Saskatoon and then Winnipeg. And we're still figuring out Ontario a little bit. And then we're going to end up in Ottawa. We also have another highway that's starting in PEI. And it's going to from Charlottetown to Fredericton to Ottawa. We've got the French connection now, co-piloted by Eric Clegg, starting in Quebec City and Montreal, and then meeting up with us in Ottawa. And we've got Mr. Dahl, who is going to do the flyway, we're calling it, the purple flyway, from Whitehorse down to Ottawa. So right now, what we have the teams set up. We have the venues pretty much set. Now what we're really needing is we're needing ground crews of volunteers to help get the word out. So this is where everyone can participate. What came to me this past weekend was, it's not actually that complicated. It's just tell people to tell people. Sometimes we just love to complicate things so much, and we think that we can't be involved, or we don't have a printer, or I don't understand email, or I mean, there's always tons of excuses. But really, it's quite amazing if you just start having a dialogue with someone. You know, you just don't know who they're going to know and how that's going to take off. And I think that's the key. So we're asking everyone, if when you go to the website, you can take a look and see. We're just in the process of updating the new towns where we're going and stopping. And if you are in that town, please send us an email at info@nhppa.org, and we'll connect you with the local teams, and we'll get you on the ground crew to help promote the local events.
And they can head off to the homepage, nhppa.org. Right there's giant banner. Click the button, you'll be taken off to the health tour page where you can see the city dates and times, see what's near you. And right below that is a volunteer form you can fill out, or just email us at info@nhppa, as Teresa suggested. What else are we doing? Feels like we've done a lot more than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's we're editing posters. I think that's what we're doing. We're editing posters. But what's really interesting is it seems like this time around, people are really hungry for something to do and something to participate in. And there's just something about bringing people together. And I was speaking with a person yesterday on the phone works at a natural health store in Edmonton. And he said, you know, the more people I speak to, the more they're just like, it's time. It's time to start something. It's time to get engaged. It's time to make sure that our voices are heard. And I mean, it is time, and that's what we're going to do. So I don't know about the van. I don't know about the van, though. I'm not sure about the van, because I am actually driving with Shawn. So
everybody watching, everybody in chat, tell us if you want a Volkswagen van to be carrying the petitions. We'll do it with willpower and prayer. Yeah, that is the mission. The reason that we're doing it this way is to make it highly visible for an entire month, because everyone from even people subscribe to our newsletters to all the way up to legislators, MPs. Shawn tells us all the time that the MPs are blown away to find out that this is the situation with natural health products. So, you know, it's as soon as people find out about this, they'll be outraged, and that, I think, is the whole point, if I'm on point with that. So we continue to work. It's a heck of a thing throwing this together. So we do need help. By all means, show up to the site and nhppa.org volunteer. If you want to help out, check out the map at the health tour page to see if we're coming anywhere near you, and please come help. Anything else you wanted to add, Teresa, about our campaigns? We've had thousands of MP letters sent already in support of the charter, so people are into it. Next week, we'll have a new letter for you guys to send to your MPs and the party leaders. So campaigns are going strong, and we'll show you all the numbers before we take off on the road. Anything else you wanted to add?
I think it's quite remarkable that, I mean, we're 3 weeks away now, or how many? 3 weeks away. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it already seems like there's momentum growing, and we haven't even started. I mean, the tour, it's like we're approaching the starting line, and the starting line, I don't think, is the beginning of the tour. I think the starting line is actually going to end up being in Ottawa. So I think we're just creating and rallying the people. So I just encourage you all to just, if you haven't shared your story, if you're interested in sharing your personal health story, go to the website, download the postcards, send them out to your MPs, do the electronic one online, and we'll just watch and see where this goes, I guess.
And like you said, tell people to tell people. So
Tell people, yeah, just tell people to tell people. It's if it feels uncomfortable, it feels like you're kind of like stretching a little bit, because normally you don't have these types of conversations. And if you kind of get that little pit in the bottom of your stomach, kind of thinking, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or whatever, I would just encourage you to do it twice, because you're probably on target.
We each have our, little coffee table gripes that we bring up as we catch the headlines and stuff. And at work over the water cooler, this needs to start to enter the conversation if we want to maintain access to any of our cherished natural health products. Thank you for that, Teresa. Great to have you here today. It's great to have some feminine energy in the room. We were accused of being a sausage fest last time.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
so
That's why I'm here. I got the hair done just for it.
Yeah, as a human shield for that this time. Thank you very much for that. And we're going to shift over and let your husband go on Buckley Unfiltered. Mr.
Okay,
Buckley,
so
you have the chair.
Thanks, Jason. So arrived at what we're doing. And so I see Eric on the screen there.
Oh,
Sorry, new tech, everyone.
No worries. Yeah, we switched platforms. And so I just want everyone to understand exactly what we're doing and why we're both excited and challenged by what we're doing. So back in 2008, we'd had this initiative. We fought this thing called Bill C-51, which was just yet another Health Canada attempt to push us out. And like, I've been doing this for 30 years, and Health Canada just keeps trying and trying and trying to, create an unfair and undoable regulatory environment and get rid of these natural products. And back in 2008, we just, fought a big fight. Everyone's exhausted. And so we brought people together into Kamloops at the time. We held 2 conferences. So, we had consumers, we had practitioners, manufacturers, stores, lawyers, you name it. And we just acknowledged, listen, we're fighting a war of attrition. Like, Health Canada will come up with an initiative, we'll all organize and fight it. And we're just happy if we haven't lost too much. Like, in the last couple of years, we've lost a lot. Like, we're losing the battle big time. But back then, we were, they hadn't taken us as far down the road. And we asked the question, how do we solve this? How do we win this war? And the idea we came up with, which I'm quite proud of, is, well, let's have basically a health bill of rights. So let's take the rights that the courts say we already have and codify them. Let's say, listen, these are our health rights. So it's a piece of legislation. These are our health rights. And every federal law, every federal action has to be subservient to these rights. If you go to court to try and enforce a health right that the court says we have, you're going to be paying your lawyer, tens of thousands of dollars to research all the cases that say you have this health right, and then to stand in court for a day and a half, going through the cases with the judge to try and convince the judge that you have a right that you actually have. Why don't we just have it set out in writing? You have this right. And that it's subservient, and off we go. And it also, the health charter creates some necessary legal presumptions. And the one I want to talk about is it creates a legal presumption that the best source of information as to whether or not a treatment works for a person is the person. Because what happens if your life depends on a treatment, be it a chemical treatment or a natural health product? Time after time, Health Canada has taken treatments people rely on for their lives away. and you go to court. So let's just say it's a natural remedy. You go to court trying to get the court to order that you have access to this treatment. And what happens is the Department of Justice machine will hire 2 to 3 experts who then will, say, oh, no, there's all these approved drugs. Now, you've already tried them and they weren't working, or the side effects were killing you. And so you're now on a natural remedy. And there's real life cases here. This is in the charter because of people's experiences in court. So the Department of Justice experts that they hire will say, no, there are these approved treatments. Here's all the research on the approved treatments. They work. And when the person is relying on an unapproved treatment, well, it's not approved for that, they'll say. And there just isn't evidence. And truly it's snake oil. And this person is having psychiatric problems, telling you that the approved treatments don't work. And so, already to be able to do that, you're like of this minority of Canadians that could afford to take on the Department of Justice in court. But then, you're not likely to win because you've got to try and convince a judge that these experts that are telling the court that you're full of crap, that the approved treatments work and the treatment you want don't. You have this hill that is unreasonable to climb. And so that's why we put that presumption in there. Well, we wrote the charter back in 2008. And, probably for 7 or 8 years between 2008 and now, the NHPPA was on life support. Like we weren't doing anything because we'd have no financial support. We're all volunteers, and that there wasn't a Health Canada initiative to get anyone excited to do anything. So the point I'm making is there's long periods of time here where we weren't doing anything. But just ordinary citizens, like, stores that were committed and citizens that were committed, were collecting signatures on the paper petition to support the Charter of Health Freedom. And we're now at basically 150,000 signatures. Mm-hmm. We're the 3rd largest petition in Canadian history. We've been collecting these for years. And so we were thinking, this spring, it was this spring, mm-hmm. We better enter these. Parliament's going to resume in the fall. We should enter these. We can't be sitting on them we should enter them. We should. And then we thought, well, it's kind of pretty significant. We've, 3rd largest petition in Canadian history. If we just enter them, there'll be a count for a day. There'll be, the entering in Parliament. And it's really not doing justice to what's happened. So we thought, why don't we drive it across the land? Let's start on the West Coast, drive to Ottawa, get some people starting on the East Coast, driving to Ottawa, get some people starting in Quebec, driving to Ottawa. And along the way, hold some live events and try to create mm-hmm. momentum here and awareness about the chart. Most of Canadians, even, health food stores and practitioners, they don't know. They don't know that this is the solution. So let's create some momentum. And you see how this was just kind of an evolving idea. Teresa and I were heavily involved in the National Citizens Inquiry. And I think one of the reasons why that gained momentum, just aside from the fact that there was something incredible about people sharing their stories, mm-hmm. was that it broadcast all day for 3 days a week, week after week. That, you could log in whenever you were free. You'd know that it was running during the day, and that helped create momentum. And we thought, well, why don't we do that? Why don't we have an online health show while we're driving this charter across? So, we'll be everyone driving will be announcing. We would invite stores and citizens to send in videos or create events along the way. But why don't we actually have an online health show? And then we thought, this can't be just a regular health show. For those of you, and health shows have become few and far between since COVID, but health shows will have experts by and large on health topics that are at the show because they have a booth and they're selling products. And they are wonderful presentations. And we want those people at this health show. But let's do something completely different. I just felt like it was a Monty Python line, but that's not where I'm going. Why don't we have ordinary Canadians sharing their personal health journeys on how they're only alive or they're not disabled because of natural health products? Because that's forbidden knowledge. Those people that know about these life-changing stories, the practitioners and the manufacturers, it's illegal for them to share this information. And I'm going to share with you at least one story, but we've been doing pre-records and story after story after story, even though they're success stories, I'm finding I'm personally being impacted because first of all, they were suffering. And then I also know that there's a whole bunch of people out there that are caught in the mainstream medical system without hope. And I'm not here to knock that system, but the reality is it sucks at chronic illness. It sucks. And there's a whole bunch of people suffering, and there's a whole bunch of people dying, and they don't have to be suffering and dying, and they don't have to lose hope. And I just find that I'm grieving and being emotionally impacted. And another thing, we're interviewing like doctors. So I just got off a call with a medical doctor, and I'm going to share something that this medical doctor shared during this presentation. But, we're having medical doctors, we're having naturopathic doctors, we're having homeopathic doctors, we're having traditional Chinese practitioners. And for the non-medical doctors, I've now learned from the interviews, I need to ask them, and I am asking them, out of, the patients that come to you for the first time, not your repeat patients, when the patients that are coming to you for the first time, how many of them have totally exhausted the mainstream medical system trying to find an answer to their issue, and now they're coming to you? And most of them are saying like 95%. So these are people that the mainstream medical system has absolutely failed. And then these practitioners are sharing their success stories with these patients. So let me share with you one of the stories that I have found impactful. So this is a story, the lady's name is Marion. And at the time of the story, and there's some irony here, she's working for Health Canada in Ottawa. She's quite high up in their biologics department. She's a PhD immunologist. And she is suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome so badly that all she can do is work. She has no life outside of work. She cannot sleep during the night at all. She can nap during the day. So she's actually having to nap during the day while she's at Health Canada. And she can have no life outside of that. That's all she can handle. So no social life, no dating, nothing. In fact, she shares with us in her video interview that at one point she got fed up and said, I am going out for supper with a friend. Like, that's it. I can't take this. I'm going to go out for supper with a friend. So she takes the day off work because, again, she can't sleep at night. So she's trying to nap as much as she can during the day so that she can go out for supper. She's at the restaurant. She passes out and face plants into her food. If you can imagine. And that ends her going out. She shared with us that, when her workday ended, she couldn't just jump in her car and drive home or she'd pass out. She would actually have to nap at Health Canada long enough that she felt it was safe to get into the car and drive home. She had no life, and she was quite candid. She was depressed, and that if she had not found a solution, she was confident that she would have killed herself. Mm-hmm. And you can understand that. And the Canada's leading expert, medical doctor expert on chronic fatigue syndrome at the time, she was in Ottawa, and she goes to this doctor. There's no treatment. So for her, the mainstream medical system was a dead end. She was going to kill herself. She had no life. She comes across a natural remedy. Within 24 hours, she's sleeping the night. This was decades ago. She's never looked back. Now, this is a forbidden story. The manufacturer can't share it, practitioners can't share it, but we're sharing it. Because other people that are suffering with chronic fatigue syndrome, that are being told there are no treatments, that are just being doped out to try and get rest during the night, that have no life and are going to kill themselves, or are in despair, or their relationships are going to end. They're going to lose their house because they can't work. They need to know. Keep looking. There's answers out there. Do you see the importance of this? I'm just interviewing today a veteran, a pediatric doctor, Dr. Michelle Perro, 45 years as a pediatrician, trained, at the Yale and Mount Sinai, and worked at the emergency department in the pediatrics hospital in New York City, and then moved to California. High caliber doctor, doing research, publishing. Her son, her pediatric son, this is a pediatric expert, is suffering and suffering and suffering with croup. That barky cough, and she's making it clear, this child is having trouble breathing. She's a pediatrician. Her husband's a pediatrician. She is reluctant to use the steroid treatment on her son, and happens to have a dialogue with a naturopathic doctor who says, we'll use this. Within 5 minutes, the child was well. And she said, I didn't believe it. And my husband didn't believe it. And it was replicable when because the child had, this would be a repeat thing. She says, and I can tell you, in interviewing a medical doctor, so she trained to become a homeopath. We interviewed another medical doctor who trained to be a homeopath. It was the same thing. There was disbelief in how quickly some of these homeopathic remedies worked. Now, both these medical doctors, as I say, trained to become homeopathic doctors, and for both of them, worked as both medical doctors and homeopathic doctors for at least a quarter century further. And both were clear. The homeopathic treatments work so much better. Now, the patients get to choose. And there's, clearly both of them would say, no, there's times I want to be allopathic for a patient. They're making decisions based on the patient, but both of them were also clear. The homeopathic healing tradition, they were just seeing way better results. Now, isn't that interesting? And homeopathic medicine, the mainstream media, has clearly been directed over the past decade or so to try and totally discredit them in the mainstream press. But we can have these doctors share, I've done both, and here's my experience. And we can have patients share and say, I've done both, and this is my experience. So we are absolutely honored to be interviewing these people. Mm-hmm. And it is going to be exciting. So we're going to be driving this charter across Canada. Hopefully we can secure an old VW van.
With heat. Heat.
Yeah, but they didn't have heat. And you won't get an old one where the heat's still working. So, and we're worried because it turns out old Volkswagen vans, when they were brand new, were not reliable. And apparently as they get older, they don't get more reliable. But we're going to try.
Maybe there's some sort of connection with the health system.
But I want to keep us, I know the parallels that we can have with this for messaging are golden. But the point is, we do this because this is life and death. You're watching this call because you know it's life and death. We're not going anywhere near COVID. We're not going anywhere near vaccines. We are keeping this information that anyone can watch. But we need to break the narrative. Health Canada says we need to restrict access to natural remedies because of risk. When the reality is the risk is taking them away because the benefits are so profound. And if you want good health outcomes, you have to acknowledge the benefits and then say, okay, here's the risks that are real. Let's ignore the fake ones. Here are the benefits, and how do we manage those two to get the best health outcomes? It's dishonest to ignore the risks. It's illegal for the risks to be shared if you're in any way involved in the industry. So if you're a practitioner or you're a manufacturer, and those are the people that generally know the risks, they can't be shared. But we can share them. We can share them. One other thing I need to share with you is, and I wasn't expecting it to the level that we've had, is the fear of participating. So we cannot tell you how many health food stores, oh, we love what blah, 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 but we can't be associated. We're worried about being targeted. We cannot tell you how many manufacturers have saying, I wish I could share. But I've been attacked before. I can't afford to lose my business. I can't participate, including, one who backed out, who is clearly excited. And practitioners that are not willing to share their success stories or to participate at all. They support what we're doing, but they're afraid of being attacked. And it's real. That's the thing, is this censorship and these attacks are absolutely real. So I'm not faulting the people that have backed down. I'm not faulting those who are not willing to publicly associate with what's happening here. And what's happening here is a beautiful thing. I'm just reporting to you that the fear is real because Health Canada attacks and censorship are real. And we have to end this. It's done. It's finished. We can't allow this to continue. And I need you. Like Teresa was the main organizer and person that ran the National Citizens Inquiry more than anyone else. And you need a special skill set. Very few people could be pulling all these local teams together. So I've asked her, please, will you come in and put this together? And God is blessing it, and it's coming together. Mm-hmm. But we are just breaking ourselves. And Jason and Eric will tell you, I'm looking forward to, October 25th when I can sleep and these people will stop bugging me to do this, do that. And they're both smiling, but they're exhausted.
Yeah, they are.
Like, we're a small group, but we see the importance of this, but this is only going to work if people watch. And so we so need all hands on deck. We need the NHPPA only works because people like you get involved. So if you're not following us on social media, do that and like and repost and do whatever you can to get through those algorithms to get it out there. Eric invited you to go to our homepage, and you're going to see right at the top, click here to find out more about the tour. We have posters you can print. Don't just put them in your health food store. Get them in your public library. Get them in your public spaces. Put them on telephone poles. Like, get it out there for people to watch. We have postcards. Now, I get that you need card stock for the postcards, but you can pay Staples to print out the postcards. And we want them in health food stores, but why not in, your tire shop or whatever else? Wherever there's a friendly person to get it out there. And just tell people, like, this, you are going to be absolutely blown away by the stories, both by the practitioners and experts, but just people telling their stories, and it's real. These people aren't polished or, there's none of that. Yeah. They're just people sharing their stories. And so this is going to be a fun event. This is going to be an exciting event because it's truly going to be fun to drive across Canada, especially, the Shield, where you get lost for days between Winnipeg and I'm just kidding. I'm dreading.
Wait a minute.
I'm dreading that part of the trip. But isn't it interesting? And it maybe we just don't have the connections, but Teresa was listing all these places, and then, our most populous province, Ontario,
Yeah.
we really don't have stores or groups stepping up to the plate and saying, we'll help you organize. So if there's anyone watching, really between Ottawa and Winnipeg, we really don't have, people stepping up saying, I'll help you create an event. So if you're interested in that, just, email us at info@NHPPA, and it'll get to Teresa, because she's the person sorting through all of this, and we'll do it. And, I'm not worried, because I just see this falling together in an exciting way, and the momentum's just going to grow and grow. And I think, Eric and Jason will agree, and I'll then stop then and we'll take questions, but we'll agree that, this is resonating. Like, there's just something about this that we feel is going to make a real difference, and apply to share your story. We definitely need financial help. Never before have we undertaken such a big commitment, and it's draining us. So, we're stepping out and just trusting that as this goes on, people are going to help us. And for those of you that have stepped up to help, thank you. But participate. This is, I think, the biggest opportunity ever for us to get out of, our echo chamber and really make this a mainstream issue.
Can
Fantastic.
I think,
yes, go ahead.
can I just add, I think the mama bears are wanting this information. I think the moms want this information. I think they're like, I interviewed.
They need it.
Well, they need it. Yeah. I was interviewing a lady this morning or this afternoon, and she's about 76 years old. And she spoke about how, when her young child was 3 years old, how she recognized that at the time they would go to a church function, and there was just sugar. And I mean, she realized that what she was giving her children was really harming them. And she kind of walked through what her discovery journey was. And we were almost done. And then I realized, and she was also, speaking about the natural health products that she was kind of learning about and supplementing her children's diets with. And then at the end, I realized, I said, I realized how old she was. I said, so this was back in 1983, when you discovered this, and you discovered sugar bad, natural health supplements good, and things that you can do to help make your children feel and act better, and not be racing, and because her child was hyperactive. And then I realized it's 1982, and 40 years later, and we're even worse off than.
Oh, diet and
I couldn't believe it. It just like the penny dropped in my head.
So just on that topic, so let me share. So again, I was sharing that I was interviewing Dr. Michelle Perro, who's this medical pediatrician for 45 years. She's still practicing, but also now practices homeopathic medicine. And, we were talking actually about, parents, and she's sharing with us research, because she's explaining how you have to avoid all these toxins, and you have to be eating organic. And she started sharing, there's study after study after study that if both mother and father, but it's primarily mother, will switch to an organic diet, like the best case scenario is a year before you conceive. But she said even 3 months before there's a measurable benefit, you're going to have less complications in your pregnancy. You're going to have a healthier child. And then there's other research showing that actually what the mother eats during pregnancy, the child's going to, as an adult, want to eat. So if you're eating organic and eating well and avoiding the wrong things, you're actually programming your child in utero to basically have a healthy lifestyle later on. Now, what mother is not going to want to have less complications in pregnancy and measurably healthier children? Like, there's research on this. And all you have to do is actually be taking care of yourself by eating right. And you're going to be programming your child to have healthy lifestyle. I found that absolutely fascinating. So yeah, so this health show is going to really help parents.
Yeah.
Get the mama bears, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I may, I'm just going to get an image up here just to.
Oh, can we show
There.
that the promo video that
Oh.
that you prepared, Eric?
We can.
And then, yeah. So, but just you can pull that back up, and Teresa will just explain. This is about, where we have stops now, but we can add, and there might be some. We can definitely add Ontario ones.
Yeah, you can see that long drive. You see that long green line? That's going to take a long time. I don't know what we're doing then.
I'd win on the purple if I was driving, but I'm just driving into Whitehorse.
Yeah,
I wanted to pull this up and just tell everyone what you're in for. So we've got all of these live dates, but this is just the live experiences that will be coming up on these dates. For 4 days a week, starting on the 4th, you're going to have 8 hours of broadcasting every day. So all of these touching stories that Shawn and Teresa were telling you about, all of your stories, they're going to make up a broadcast that'll start at 7 a.m. Pacific, run through the day with a little news show in the middle from yours truly to give live updates on where Shawn and Teresa and the charter are. And there will be an interactive map. You'll be able to actually follow the alleged VW van across Canada. You'll be able to follow the charter on its travels. So this is going to be an entire month of entertainment, fun with a purpose. I just wanted to chime in with that. Let our viewers and subscribers know what they're in for. It's not going to just be these live dates. It's going to be every day entertainment and touching stories that can be shared with your friends and get this conversation going. So just wanted to bring that up.
So you wanted to
Oh,
add
yeah.
that?
Sorry. Yeah, we were both going to talk at the same time. I was going to say, if you're a store owner or a manufacturer, if you want to participate and have your own pop-up event, if we can make it, or if someone from our team can make it to pop in and say hi, that would be great. If we're not able to physically be there, we'd invite you to still have an event. We'd love to provide whatever we can to help support you and broadcast it. Send us a clip and a video of your signing the petition, explaining stories with your clients or in the store, and send us those videos, and we'll make it part of the world's greatest health show.
So what Teresa's saying is we want people across Canada to be able to participate. So if you create your own little event, obviously you can't have a 5-hour event and expect we're going to broadcast 5 hours during the day.
Well, maybe.
But 5-10 minutes of a recording. We want to have to bump some of the speakers we have to be able to add in. And then I also just wanted to say, we truly are trying to find an old Volkswagen van, like one of the old ones. But that has us worried. And so we're, if that happens, we're going to be asking if, any people want to be chaperone drivers where they're driving like real vehicles that are reliable with us on different legs. So just so that we feel a little more comfortable in case, we have a problem and need to make a deadline and such. So if any of you...
I pushed a van.
Yeah. Oh, no. We all know the problems. So if just, bug in your ear that we're actually going to be, we would feel better and safer if for the different legs, like if somebody wants to, drive with us the whole way, that's great. We're not going to say no, but that might be unrealistic. But if in your area you're willing to drive a leg with us, there's going to be an interactive map, and we're not going to be hard to find, and we'd certainly appreciate that. So
and bring a car jack just in case.
Yeah, and European winter tires.
European winter tires. Yeah.
You will be able to follow. You'll be able to tell where they are. So there is no rule against making a little caravan of people as they get close and come into town with them and meet up with them. Absolutely no rules against that. We encourage it, right? Can have a little caravan rolling around. Now, you wanted to show off a little video there.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Let's see. To do it with... It'll take a little second. We can keep chatting, but yes, the encourage people to come on out and join in the ride. You can follow for as long as you want. You can wait till they're right outside the city and join them.
And we're still taping, so if you have a personal health journey that you want to share, please email us, and we'll go to the website and sign up. We'd love to take your story. So we're
talking to everyone.
Yeah. And the stories are amazing. They really are. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go quiet for 1 second. I'll bring up the video, and then we will take any questions that we've gathered from the chat tonight before we end the show. And we're back. So that's a great little bit of fun there. I always tear up a little bit at the, so hold on a little longer. I'm always like, okay, we'll hold on. We'll wait for the van. That's great. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that video in various forms as we move forward. And we're going to go on to take a few questions. Moving forward, if there is an NHPPA show in October, it will be at the end because we're going to be broadcasting way too much to do an update in the middle of it. So the next show after that, whether we plug one into the last week of October or into the second week of November, is going to be a heck of an update. We might want to book 2 hours for that one, Shawn, because we're going to have a lot to tell people after we've driven around the country with the charter. So we will have a break for this specific show for 1 month. But as I outlined, we are going to have 8 hours a day of programming for you guys, 4 days a week in October. We want to thank you for being here, and subscribe, follow us on socials, and we'll see you in Ottawa.